reintroduction of history. The Federal Ministry of Education made a major announcement on its official X account. The federal government has officially reintroduced Nigerian history as compulsory subject in the basic education curriculum. The stated goal is powerful: to strengthen national identity, unity, patriotism, and responsible citizenship in the next generation. But now, we want to hear from you. What do you think about this decision? Is this brilliant and a long overdue move, a crucial step to ensuring our children understand our past, our heroes, and our struggles to build a stronger sense of what it means to be a Nigerian? Or do you see potential problems? Is it a good idea on paper that will be hard to implement? Are you concerned about how it will be taught? Who will write the textbooks? Or does it add too much? Or if it adds too much to an already packed school day? So the big question for you at home is the return of history class: good step or bad idea? We want your voice in this conversation. Do you support it? Do you have concerns? What are your memories of learning history, and what do you want for your children? Get involved right now. Give us a call on the numbers displayed on your screen. You can also send WhatsApp messages. Let's get a national conversation started. The lines are opened. Like it is said, you know, the reason why the federal government reintroduced history is the major one is to make sure the students understand their past. You know, any student that did not understand the past of a nation will not have a future, or will not know how to go about the future. Now we have a caller.
Take our first caller. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, how are you?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
I can't remember her name.
Maryam.
My name is Ade.
Okay.
Good morning, Ajay.
Good morning,
Ajay. Thank you for calling in.
I'm so happy and glad that they brought Black history. Anybody that does not know it or our history, I think it's not complete enough. Because we must know our history. Today we remember what during his lifetime we have a university in his head. When I was living in Kano, we have like Kano, you know, Seriki Kalikawa, and we have great people. Even Abubakarimi, you know. So we mustn't forget these people. Nabi Azikwe, Awolowo, and others. So our history is very important for the generation to come. So they can know when they are learning about this history, the great people that Nigeria has great people in the past. So they will not be judging what is happening in Nigeria now to our forefathers. They will know that they tried their best. And that's why we can make so many things about them. For example, Nigeria has television before France has television in Ibadan. Nigeria has television before France has television. France as a nation. So all these things history are very important to our children and to their children's children, generations to on board. So I welcome the history. I welcome it because when the children don't know about history, they won't know how to judge, they won't know how to contribute, they won't know much. They will think what is happening in their environment now is normal. The way people are doing now, they will think it's normal. But they don't know that there are some politicians before in those days who have done excellently well. The first high rising built in Nigeria, Cocoa House, was built by Cocoa in Ibadan. So it's very important to all. I'm so glad that we have our history back. So it will be a great thing for our generations to come. So I give kudos to the Minister of Education for doing, and all any government coming after this to sustain the momentum so that our people can learn. We all learn it in school. So that's my own view about it. I support it. It's a good thing. It's a good step in the right direction. Good morning. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Ajay, for your contribution. You know, Maryam, when it comes to history, I believe that if you know your history, your past, that aids in, you understanding what your country is all about. That aids in you knowing that you should be, should I say, patriotic to your country when it comes to seeing the service that others have done for the country and to the country when it comes to it. Because if you have no glimpse of what happened in the past, if you have no glimpse of the contributions that have been given to the country, there's no way for you to understand that, okay, this is where we're coming from and this is where we are meant to be. It is, you wouldn't have a clear direction or a clear, projection, exactly, in shaping, your understanding of how, first off, to conduct yourself in the country when it comes to being morals and values. Second off, for you to understand that you have to put back into the society, into the community, into the country for you to get back as well. Do not be the one that is there always expecting, because in the past, in history, we have the likes of, Nnamdi Azikiwe, we have the likes of Tafawa Balewa, we have the likes of Sardauna Sokoto, who is Ahmadu Bello, and all the people that have made Nigeria what it was. Even when it comes to politics as well, they made Nigeria into what it was. But then carrying on, for it to be on a positive path, we have to know where we're from and how much positive contribution they've brought to the country. So that in itself, I believe, bringing that back into classrooms would aid in enabling, the students or children of today to understand that there is more than, I would say, social media. There is more than what we see around you. There has been a past, there is a present, and there will be a future. And you have to be prepared in making sure that, you have a future as well.
That's true, Hauwa. And one major reason of the reintroduction of history is commendable is, we're always saying we have unity in diversity, but is that really true? So I think the reintroduction of history is going to enhance the unity in diversity. We have lots of ethnic groups, we have lots of tribes in Nigeria, and we are always hearing stories here and there about tribal clash and what have you. It is because we do not know about each other. We don't know about the history of each other. A normal Igbo man, an average Igbo man in Enugu State, do not really know anything about the North. He doesn't know our history. He doesn't, knowing our history will shape
I remember
how, our consciousness,
yeah, absolutely.
How we tolerate each other. When he knows, okay, when I know about the contributions the Igbo people give to the country, when an Igbo man knows about the contributions and the loyalty, the past heroes give the country in northern Nigeria, it will help us understand each other the more and live together, coexist peacefully.
And talking about the ethnicity, the sheer diversity that we have here in Nigeria. I remember when we used to study history, even from primary school, junior classes, and you would have your history books, and there would be an explanation and a depiction of different cultures and ethnicities for children to understand from a young age, for them to take out that prejudice, having an understanding and an education of, the diversity that we have in Nigeria helps in cutting down that prejudice, that stereotype, and the fear of the unknown that we do have. Yeah. All right, we have another caller. We have Shatima Yakodima from Maiduguri. Hello, good morning, Shatima.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Maryam.
Good morning, Shatima.
Good morning, Shatima.
Thank you. Good morning, Trust TV. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning, Shatima. What's your contribution on this topic today? Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Well, reintroduction of history. It is good. It is good, honestly. Because without the knowledge of history, you cannot know your past, so that you can build a better tomorrow. If you know your past, then you have been opportune to build a better tomorrow. The lesson of history will tell you the mistakes that you made in the past, or the past generation that mistakes they made, so that for you to adjust and rebuild a better tomorrow. You see, history lesson is very, very important. Important in the sense that you know the contribution of your elders, your forefathers, what they contribute to the country. Now, for example, if you look at Nigeria as a case study, if you look at the contribution of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the one that who injected 75% of his, on his monthly allocation to sponsor people to pursue better education and higher education. That is why today, Yorubas, there were highly educated people in Nigeria. And this is because of the commitment of the Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And if you look at the way Azukwe was contributed towards the peace building among the Igbo society, and he built them in the business sector. He had made a lot of contribution. Sardauna, who have made a lot of contribution towards the development of the northern region, he is the one that set the Ahmadu Bello University. You see, that's why you can know that there are some people that have made their contribution largely. And if you look at it very well, the history will tell you who you are. Through history, you know yourself. You know who you are, and through history, you will study the other ethnic groups that you are sharing a country, Nigeria, with them. So by knowing them, that's how you will appreciate them. So knowledge of history, to me, is very, very vital towards the development of Nigeria. And you see, if you look at people like, people like the first premier of the northern region. I'm talking about Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa, when he died, he being the second citizen as them. The highest position that in Nigeria after Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, I think is the second. But this man died and left only one house that inherited in Bauchi. That house was inherited, by him, from his father. And in his possession, it was only 5 naira that he left in his account. 5 naira. That is why the portrait of that person was in our 5 naira. So if you look at it very well, history will reveal to you that the leaders that caged their tape, have caught their desire to build a country. That's why you yourself you will be envying, or you will try to copy from them. So history lesson is very, very important, honestly speaking, towards the development of your country. So reviving history, we are also calling government to inject a social study too, because social study is also part of the the history. It will tell you the ethnic groups of your country. It will tell you the symbols of your country. You know so many things, so that you appreciate the country that you find yourself in. So I think history is very, very important. And through history, you understand the political parties that they have ruled the country in the past, like in the Second Republic. Political parties like NPC and like LPM, JLPP, PRP, and so. You can understand how they play their own political card, so that you copy from them. So in essence, in nutshell, is very, very important. The lesson of history is very important. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Shatima, for calling in and giving us your perspective on this matter. So we're still on the topic, reintroduction of history in schools. Is this a good step? So make sure you call us in. Send us WhatsApp messages if you're unable to call us, so that we can read out your thoughts. So when it comes to, being focused on making sure that there's an updated, curriculum when it comes to history. There's a lot to be done when it comes to it. It's been a long time since history has been studied in schools. I think it's been 16 years, I believe, since that. And, a lot has happened, and there's so much that can be added to our history books. And I hope that, those that would be charged in making sure that, the history is updated and everything that is important events are included in those history books, so that the students can learn and understand what has happened, and still use it as a learning tool in their future endeavors as well.
That's true. There's a lot to be unpacked, from the before the amalgamation in 1914 till date, honestly. So that's why it's a good thing that the government instilled that in primary schools also. They're going to start from primary, secondary, the JS school, then the senior secondary. And according to the federal government, the 1 to 6 pupils, that's the primary schools, will learn about Nigerians' origin, heroes. It's bit by bit. You cannot do everything all together. Then the JS 1 to 3 will study about Nigerian civilizations, ancient empires, trade networks, European contact. Nigerian has rich history. Then SS 1 to 3, the senior students will be introduced to a new subject called Civic and Heritage Studies under history, and which will imagine civic education with key aspects of Nigerian history, design and build a responsible citizenship. Now, a lot of people will be like, what is, even when we were in secondary school, we'll be like, okay, government as a subject is very similar to history. But one thing we fail to understand...
Sorry, not to cut you short, I'm just, the depiction on, on screen with the 4 previous currencies that we've had. A lot of people have do not know
have an idea
the history of the currency that Nigeria has had when it came to trading, that is trade by barter, and then it moved to other forms of cowries and different currency that has been used, that has evolved over time up until the naira that we know now and we use as well. So sorry for cutting you short. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. It was an interesting one. An average Nigerian youth.
50 kobo being a note at this point. But these are the things that a lot do not even know, do not even know. And even at this point, a lot of Nigerians, the youth that are coming up, that are going, they don't even know that the naira still has coins.
Of course.
We have the 1 naira coin, 50 kobo, 2 naira coin as well, because it is not in use anymore.
They thought it's
even
been wiped out.
Exactly. You would go out, you'd buy things for 50 kobo and 25 kobo
Growing
as well.
up, I remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But now things have actually evolved and changed, and it is quite important to understand, the history when it comes to it. Let's take, for example, these notes, this money. This shows you the evolution of the economy when it comes to Nigeria as well.
Oh yeah. So back to what I was trying to say about, when we were discussing this yesterday, somebody said, oh, the government and history are similar. So since you have government and civic education, why will you introduce history? I was like, no,
it is not the same.
Government is all about government policies, politics, what political party came to what political party, what political party was like in government, and this, it's all about the Nigerian politics, the Nigerian policy, and what have you. History is on a deeper level, talking about heroes past, talking about, like I said, the European, how the European invaded Africa,
the evolution of Nigeria itself.
It's a lot, and that's why it's a good thing they started from the primary, because you have to go by bits by bits. But making the people know, especially our youth, know the history, like well-documented past of Nigeria is very essential.
It's quite
because
important.
ask an average youth from the, let's say, 40 down. Yes, now they do not really know anything about Nigeria. Let's just go on a research or go to the street and ask 10 people when Nigeria got its independence or republic, became a republic, I swear they're going to, you're going to be amazed on how people do not really know, because nobody is saying it. It's not being taught in schools. Like we used to have current affairs, but
absolutely,
it's been
yeah.
long
We used to have that. We used to have quizzes.
Those current affairs
we used to
books,
have all of that, and you would even ask someone, and they wouldn't even know that Lagos was Nigeria's capital before Abuja was. That in itself, you wouldn't know that there were regions before in Nigeria.
Exactly.
And they wouldn't know that there was an amalgamation of the northern and the southern protectorate, and they don't know where the Niger River or the Benue River meets the confluence. They wouldn't know different aspects. So bringing back all of those things would be quite important. All right, let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your name?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it?
Thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Adamu Muhammad Usman.
Okay, Adamu Muhammad. Thank you for calling. Adamu Muhammad Usman, thank you for calling.
I'm calling you from Captain Hausa, Jigawa State.
All right, thank you for calling in. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Actually, the issue of history shouldn't be limited only teaching it in school. There is a great need for the federal and state government. I think there's supposed to be a ministry for this. I think there is Adamu culture and what have you. So if you look at, even when you go to something like occupation, like weaving, dining, blacksmithing, and what have you, all they're trying to go. If you get a child, maybe a boy or a girl of maybe 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, they may not know about all this kind of history. So there's a great need for government to do something for local government, state and federal governments about history, because this issue of this occupation will actually try to know how do we make a knife, a hoe, a rake, and what have you. It's a black ladies that are doing all these things. And when you even come to issue of food, if you come to issue of food right now, most children don't know what is made taushe. I don't know if that is a vegetable soup and what have you, or how to even make it. You can marry a girl of maybe 18 years, 20 years, he doesn't know how to make a local food. Because that culture and then our norms are all going because of civilization and westernization. And when even you come to issue of traditional institutions, horse riding, all these kind of race, they're all going. And when you look, if you read this Wambagaja, written by Abubakar Imam, you know about all these things. Even all those books that we used to read before, like there's Deredubu there, in Nagarino Kowa, all those books, they are not only films and other things, modernization, that are killing all this. So the government is not issue of teaching history in schools, but imparting it through our musicians, food, and even occupations. And somebody maybe at age of 50, 60, 70 at home can sit down and teach his children or tell them some stories, Tazunia, and they're not all bit down. So, and even to your mother or your sister, daily trust, if you look at some of their columns they are running before, about 20 years old, they are about, some of these columns they have done. And they're taking people's memory back. Yes. And look at even there was sometimes there is a kind of column reading, building readers focus culture in daily trust. I know. So at least it's a kind of it's a collective project. The media, the traditional institutions, and elderly people and other things. Why now? Very sorry, I'm a Muslim, I have to bring this in. Very sorry, I know there are Christians who are following, or those who are not, even they don't have religion. Up to now, Al-Quran was revealed over 1,000 for 100 years. But every day that we used to read it, we know what has happened to the Moses, Musa, Jesus, Isa, Abraham, Ibrahim, and other things. And also, all even the religious institutions in the mosques and the churches, they should be reflecting in preaching, bring all those kind of history before, telling people what has been happening, what has been done by so person. So I'm wishing you all the best, and this program is good, and you people are trying. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for your contribution.
You know, Hauwa, in everything, when you understand the past of that particular thing, everything at all, like when you know the history of a particular something, you tend to understand the core values, you know, and how to shape the future of that particular thing. So as the ministry will say, history is more than a subject, it's a mirror through which a nation sees its best, understands its present, and prepares for its future. When, you know, growing up, my parents, you know, my dad especially, you know, most Nigerians actually think unemployment started like way back. But according to my dad, when you finish your university, you understand there's unemployment. A job is already ready for you, and it happened in Nigeria.
Yes.
It happened. There was a time, a car, a place to stay, and what have you. But people now, young people of this, the present day Nigeria, they don't even know something like that existed. You know, if they had known something like that,
how would they know it exists or it existed when it is not done as it was before? You have to struggle to get employment. You would, you would have to know someone before.
But knowing that existed will have, you know, add more faith. You know, like they will believe that Nigeria will work again, something like that.
Or they would be part of that change when it comes to it.
Exactly, they will strive, you understand, because they understand, they know it has not, it isn't like this before. So without them knowing that this existed, how will they be able to believe in Nigeria? You know, okay, this happened before, it's going to happen again. We'll work towards achieving that. Don't you think?
Well, I hope so, and I hope by doing this, this would open a lot of, should I say, youngins or youth eyes to see that you would have to be part of the country in the sense that you would have to serve the country as well, for it to be something collective, for you to see the benefit and positive changes as well. And when you do understand that, you have to put forth your best foot forward and be, you know, what you expect from your country. You have to be that change that you wish to see being put forth to you. And understanding where we came from is quite important when it comes to, you know, the economy, that is, the trade that went on then, when it comes to education, how education used to be free at one point. You know, when it came to healthcare, the evolution of healthcare, when it came to, you know, Nigeria gaining its independence, when it came to urbanization, when it came to, you know, the evolution from what it was to how it is now, you know, being in an evolved society, industrialization, how agriculture was that, you know, remember when they used to say, let it get that, you know, the ground-up pyramid and all of that. So there are different aspects, but for understand the different cultures as well. You know, there was a point where having twins was an abomination. They used to kill twins at a point, and then we had a woman, and she aided in stopping, you know, the killing of twins. So there are different aspects and different of different cultures that we did not understand, or we did not know that used to happen. And with knowing that and seeing that, it would aid us to see how far Nigeria has gone, even though we're saying that most of the time we say Nigeria is not going anywhere, or we're not progressing and all of that. But with knowing your history and knowing your past, it aids you in seeing how far you have gone and how much you have to put in, you know, for you to get to that point that you need to get to.
Yeah, and you know, one of the top reasons why the history was wiped out in the Nigerian curriculum was because according to then, years ago, it said that the lack of teachers. You know, there were no teachers to teach history. But then again, we have a department of histories in most Nigerian universities. You know, so reintroducing history will like aid the people, like most prospective history students, to know more about history, to help them learn, like to help them study with ease. because you can imagine not knowing anything about history from primary, secondary, university, and you find yourself, secondary, and you find yourself studying history
in the university.
And I believe, how are you going to how are you going to
exactly
keep up with that knowledge?
And I believe, you know, the stoppage of studying history in secondary schools would somewhat, in a way, you know, stunt documentation, even though they're still studied in universities, but it will somewhat stunt documentation when it comes to historic events as well. And that is quite detrimental to history in itself in Nigeria.
Exactly. And you know, now we'll have like the Nigerian university graduates have lots of history graduates, you understand, and it will aid in you know, like giving employment to the students. You know, we have the National Archives we have in Nigeria is, you know, not much, so you can imagine 10,000 history graduates, you know, trying to work in National Archives or National Libraries and what have you, because, you know, they can work there actually. But with the introduction of history, we have lots of history teachers, you know, lots of history lecturers, you know, in an advanced stage and what have you. So it's actually commendable.
I believe so. All right, and I hope that each and every student is quite, should I say, is quite enthusiastic when it comes to learning history as well.